ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ನ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ನ ವತಿಯಿಂದ NIPM ಸಂಸ್ಥಾಪನಾ ದಿನಾಚರಣೆ 2024 ನಗರದ ಕುದ್ಮುಲ್ ರಂಗರಾವ್ ಪುರಭವನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯಿತು. ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಅತಿಥಿಗಳು ದೀಪ ಬೆಳಗಿಸಿ ಉದ್ಘಾಟಿಸಿದರು. ನಂತರ ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರತಿಜ್ಞಾ ವಿಧಿ ಬೋಧಿಸಲಾಯಿತು.
I declare that I shall subscribe to the aims and objects of the National Institute of Personnel Management and be bound by its constitution. Recognize and accept the dignity of an individual as human being, irrespective of religion, language, caste or creed. Take keen interest in the establishment of healthy human resource practices and development of the profession.
ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಅರಣ್ಯ ಇಲಾಖೆಯ ಉಪ ಸಂರಕ್ಷಣಾಧಿಕಾರಿ ಆಂಟೋನಿ S ಮರಿಯಪ್ಪ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅತಿಥಿಯಾಗಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಿ ಮಾತನಾಡಿ, ಯಾವುದೇ ವೃತ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದರೂ ಪರಿಸರ ಕಾಳಜಿಯನ್ನು ಮೈಗೂಡಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕೆಂದು ಕರೆ ನೀಡಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಶುಭ ಹಾರೈಸಿದರು.
Very accidental from being a science graduate, getting into engineering and then getting into the field of software companies and then shifting to public services. So it's driven by some events which happened around me. So somehow later on I found the public service field as my field and quite happy with where I am now. Interacting with you today as HR professionals is very important, particularly in the era of where we are seeing ourselves to be a $1 trillion economy and also where we see next by 2047 to be the biggest economy of the world. And the role of HR professionals cannot be undermined because I see this example within my family itself where my elder sister is a chief information officer for Fulton Board of Education in US. So she also was a HR professional sometime back here. So your role in the industrial revolution is very important and the managerial skills what you take up with you becomes a cutting edge what the industries presently require, especially in the era of global competition and when the globalization has reached a point where India is now being looked after from a very good repute. But one thing that has to be also taken into account, request from my side is development also should be looked from the era or from the view of sustainable development. I hope this class of would be already thought about sustainable development goals where close to 4, 5, 6 aims have been on the subject of environment, because it's very important to have a sustainable development because we need to see that this continues to be the same planet with years revolving around. So your role as an HR professional in whichever part of the industry or management you enter into should be also guarded with this disciplines of environmental management and see that the justice is more done in all the spheres of development. It's quite an honor for me to be even addressing you guys, and I also extend and wish all the very best for you in your future.
Pratt and Whitney ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ನ HR ಹೆಡ್ ಸಂದೀಪ್ ಅವರು ಮಾತನಾಡಿ, ಮಾನವ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲ ವಿಭಾಗದ ಸವಾಲುಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಅವಕಾಶಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ವಿವರಿಸಿದರು.
Today is Foundation Day. We're going to celebrate Foundation Day of NIPM Mangalore Chapter, which started in 1992. So you can speak about going back to the basics. There's an opportunity for me to share a little bit about my insights, what I've done in the last couple of years. So let's go back a little bit in terms of what HR is and how long it's been there, right? All of us know about HR. Interesting to when you go back and start looking about today's agenda, I thought let me talk about the HR evolution in the last, it's more than 100 years, right? A decade and more, and we're talking about it. And a century and more is what we're talking about, right? The various HR models which has been implemented in different parts of the world by different corporates, and also which is the most widely adopted HR model globally. The reason I want to share that with you guys is because when you get into the corporate world, these are the models that are going to be implemented, and most of the corporates when you go and join, you see this really in practice, right? I thought let me also talk about a little bit of the HR jargon which is used, because most of us are so, in management we love jargons, right? And without the jargons, people feel that you're not connected to the business world. Whenever you're sitting in board meetings, unless you understand what about the benchmarking, you talk about diversity, equity, inclusion, these are the words that keep buzzing up all the time, right? And if you're not aware of what it means, you're actually lost out, right? You keep blinking and you don't know what exactly we're talking about. So these are some of the buzzwords. I thought let me just put it in a small cloud format. And then of course, end of the day, you as youngsters and of course a lot of professionals out here would like to take something key away from here, right? So I thought let me put those things broadly as part of today's agenda. So HR evolution, a decade and more, or rather a century and more, but I focus more on the decade in the last when I speak about it. So if you go back to the 19th century, right, it all started with the industrial era. All of us know about how HR actually evolved. All of us know we started with the spinning mills. There are a lot of industrial revolution that was happening, industrialization was happening, and all HR started off with that. The root of all HR goes to that level. However, when you start progressing, you'll be surprised to know whatever we talk about hiring, recruitment, all this terminology that we use so often has been followed for the last so many years. Especially during the World War, there was a recruitment drive. We all, in the software companies, they say we go for a recruitment drive to colleges and all. It is not something new. This has been going on for so many years. For example, during the World War, there were a lot of recruitment activities happening. There were a lot of posters, a lot of advertisement that was going on in terms of saying, encouraging people to come and join the army so that they can fight the war.
ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ನ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ನ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷ ಸ್ಟೀವನ್ ಪಿಂಟೋ ಅವರು ಪ್ರಾಸ್ತಾವಿಕವಾಗಿ ಮಾತನಾಡಿ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸಿದರು.
Comprising seasoned HR professionals and aspiring management students. Your presence here today reflects your commitment to continuous learning and professional development. The National Institute of Personal Management has been a beacon of excellence in the realm of HR management for over 4 decades. Since its inception, NIPM has played a pivotal role in shaping the HR landscape of our nation through its various initiatives, programs, and advocacy efforts. As we celebrate its significant milestone today, let us take a moment to reflect on the journey that has brought us here today. Let us acknowledge the dedication and hard work of all those who have been part of NIPM's journey, past and present, and renew our commitment to advancing the field of HR management for the greater good society. On this occasion, let us also reaffirm us to resolve the embrace of innovation, diversity, and inclusivity in all our endeavors. As HR professionals and management students, we have a unique opportunity and responsibility to drive positive change not only within our organization but also in society at large. As we embark on these proceedings of this Foundation Day celebration, let us engage in meaningful dialogue, exchange ideas, and foresee the connections that will inspire us to reach greater heights in our professional journey.
ಇದೇ ವೇಳೆ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ವತಿಯಿಂದ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಅರಣ್ಯ ಇಲಾಖೆಯ ಉಪ ಸಂರಕ್ಷಣಾಧಿಕಾರಿ ಆಂಟೋನಿ ಎಸ್ ಮರಿಯಪ್ಪ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರಾಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವಿಟ್ನಿ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ನ HR ಹೆಡ್ ಸಂದೀಪ್ ಅವರನ್ನು ಸನ್ಮಾನಿಸಲಾಯಿತು. ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ನ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ನ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀಶ್ ರೈ ಹಾಗೂ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಪ್ರಮುಖರು, ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತಿತರರು ಉಪಸ್ಥಿತರಿದ್ದರು. ಶರತ್ ಸಾಲ್ಯನ್, ವಿ4 ನ್ಯೂಸ್, ಮಂಗಳೂರು.